You're listening to Me and Paranormal You with your host, Ryan Singer. It's more fun to believe. Third year bonus. Welcome. How's everyone doing? I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're doing well. All that good stuff. My name is Ryan Singer. Thank you for listening to another experience of Me and Paranormal You. Sorry about the little mic jostling there. Warning before we get started. This is a rabbit hole of epic proportions. A rabbit hole of epic proportions. This winter. Is it winter still? I believe it's still winter. This winter rabbit hole brought to you by esotericism, ufology, ancient mystery schools, and the occult, and the paranormal. I mean, this is a rabbit hole. We're going to talk about The Complete Secret Cipher of the Ufonauts by Alan Greenfield. We are getting into The Secret Teachings of All Ages by my guy, Manley P. Hall. There's even some action with The Secret Doctrine, Volume 1, H.P. Blavatsky, H.P.B. And we're probably not going to get into Metamagical Themis by Douglas Hofstadter. We're not going to get into that one. I mean, this is such a rabbit. Hey, man, you got to be careful. You're going to go down this rabbit hole, and this just might not be one you can get out of. I know, Todd. Todd, I know this is a rabbit hole. But, man, the rabbit hole is deep. It's dark. And, man, I just don't know if there's a ladder, man. I don't know if you can climb. Listen, Todd, we don't need to climb out of the rabbit hole. Something tells me we just need to free fall into this. Whoa, man, like out of a plane. But like the plane is like, like the knowingness. Yeah, something like that. And then down into the practicalness of the knowingness at the bottom of this rabbit hole. Putting the knowingness into action. How's that sound, Todd? Whoa, dude, I love action. Okay, Todd. Let's move on. This is a rabbit hole. I finished the book, The Complete Secret Cipher of the Ufonauts by Alan Greenfield, and I'm going to do my damnedest to reach out and try to get him on the program. I mean, the thing that really sticks out to me the most is, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly or not. I've looked online for pronunciations. It's Oannes, the ancient fish god of the Chaldeans. Now, basically, if what Greenfield has written is true, we have a practical guide to communication, to transporting ourselves in some kind of form to different realms. I mean, by using rituals that Crowley used and other occultists use. Greenfield's thesis is that the occult and ufology, essentially, there's no separation there. When it comes to the entities that are communicating with certain humans or other beings here on Earth, they're using this cipher that has been embedded into, very popular, well-publicized stories, and the ciphers typically are from the names of the people that are involved, the names of the aliens or the entities or the beings and their planets and any weird looking name, right? And it all stems out of the key to the cipher is understanding what the cipher is, but then using Crowley's The Book of the Law, which I have here. Why do I have it? I had to have it, I guess, is the only real way to describe that. Now, Oannes, the ancient fish god, Have we been communicating, or was there communication with Oannes? And, the legend, as legend tells it, as mythology tells us, there is this fish god, Oannes, Oannes, who in the morning, when the sun was out, would swim onto shore and then teach culture, the arts, the sciences, things like that. The gifter of culture, right? So you have this gifter of culture that is a mystical being. And listen, and then when you get into the secret doctrine over here, just let me read you the insert about what it says this book is about on the inside cover. And all of the episodes of the Mindcast are available on YouTube now. So you can go to youtube.com/official Ryan Singer. I'm posting all of the videos. Every interview, every third-year bonus, for the most part, unless there's some kind of issue that arises, will be on video moving forward. So we've been doing that over here at the Mind Cave. Let me read you this from the inside of the cover page. This is volume 1 of The Secret Doctrine, which about 4 years ago, I tried to start reading this, and it was too heavy, man. Hey, man, it's a heavy book, man. There's lots of things. But now, Todd, I think I have got a better understanding on some of the concepts and some of the characters that may be in play here. So I'm going to give it another go here shortly. I think next on my docket is Real Magic by Dr. Dean Radin. Oh, let me read this. Let me get to it. I'm on one, man. The aim of this work may be thus stated, to show that... I need my glasses, man. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. The aim of this work may be thus stated, to show that nature is not, quote, a fortuitous concurrence of atoms, end quote, and to assign to man his rightful place in the scheme of the universe, to rescue from degradation the archaic truths, which are the basis of all religions, and to uncover, to some extent, the fundamental unity from which they all spring. Finally, to show that the occult side of nature has never been approached by the science of modern civilization. I mean, let me go on. The birth and evolution of the sacred science of the past are lost in the very night of time. It is only by bringing before the reader an abundance. Was that a slip, Freudian? Was that a Freudian slip? The reader an abundance of proofs, all tending to show that in every age, under every condition of civilization and knowledge, the educated classes of every nation made themselves the more or less faithful echoes of one identical system, and in its fundamental traditions. That he can be made to see that so many streams of the same water must have had a common source from which they started. Now, isn't that what we've been talking about over here on the program? That there is interconnectedness between all of the paranormal phenomena, between UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, etc., Freemasonry, ancient knowledge. And then you've got all of this, the same stream, right, from, springing from the same source, as Blavatsky writes there. It is beyond my doubt that the interconnectivity of all things is, in fact, our reality when it comes to the nature of trying to study this phenomenon and what we should be doing moving forward. There is a ritual laid out in the Secret Cipher, the Complete Secret Cipher by Greenfield, that you can do to establish or to summon physical form of the entity, of an entity. And it gets into parsons and, L. Ron Hubbard. And if you've been listening to this show for a while, you know that about 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago, or towards the beginning of the Mindcast, I was obsessed with Jack Parsons and that whole story. And Strange Angel, the book by George Pendle, is an excellent biography of that time period of Parsons being into the occult, and then also, about his rocket science, workings and innovations, etc. And over at JPL, or what is now JPL. that Parsons helped get us to space. You know what I mean? And also was a part of the OTO. And, a quote unquote disciple of Aleister Crowley. Now, when they try to summon Babylon, right? And, I've been out to the place, Alex Mastretta and I went out there not too long ago. They're just crushing all the nature out there. They've bulldozed everything right by the Devil's Gate Dam, where apparently this portal of hell was opened up, over the course of a month, where they are doing these rituals. And I'm not so sure that a portal to hell did open up, but it is ironic, as Greenfield points out, that the first UFO sighting happened very shortly after Hubbard and Parsons performed these rituals. Now, is it a coincidence? I mean, are there coincidences that litter the paranormal field and the esoteric world? Yes, and synchronicities, they can be called oftentimes in certain situations. But here's what we're dealing with. We've got all of this stuff is tying together. And do I sound like a maniac? Probably do. And it doesn't matter if I sound like a maniac, quite frankly. Because, it doesn't bother me to sound like a maniac. I've been the host of a paranormal podcast for 8 years. I think we're beyond me worrying if I sound like a maniac. Okay, whatever. Let's keep it together a little bit to try to, at least give the skeptic some, well, he seems like he's, a normal guy. Yeah, well, does he? Does he seem like an, okay. He does. Maybe to some people, maybe to others, I do not. Stop referring to myself in second person. So Manley P. Hall also references ONS and, whether it's the Kabbalic system of the Freemasons, and, the cipher has its base in Cabalism. And this is not the Cabal, which is ironic that, the Cabal is the name of, the evil people running the world, the New World Order, et cetera, et cetera. And if you take it for what it's written and you believe what Blavatsky is saying, that the leaders, the most highly educated of all culture and civilization are tapped into this ancient historical knowledge, they understand that it can be so much more than just a story. These are all really interesting stories just on the surface. But when we search for meaning, now, is this the curse of the human animal? Is this the curse of the paranormal investigator? Someone who is interested in educating themselves and uncovering the origins of the supernatural and the mystical. Very likely it could be a curse to search for meaning. Searching for meaning is the driving force, right? It is the thing that drives people to Bonk City regarding synchronicity. Because people want to understand, what does it all mean? Yeah, man, I want to know. I know you do, Todd. Todd always wants to know, what does it mean, man? Yeah, I know, Todd. You want to know what it means. You're a seeker, a searcher, a wanderer. I binged Reacher series on Amazon Prime. If you love the Jack Reacher movies, or you love the books, The Killing Floor, Lee Child, is that the author? The series is really well done. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, he's a wanderer. So I'm hearing the noise here. Someone's listening in now. Let's get back to it. What I'm saying is, this knowledge is available, right? It is out there. It is for us to get our fingertips, our eyeballs, and our ears involved with. We can get involved with it. Do you have the time? That is a very important question. Can you make the time to truly have a relationship with all of this that's going on? And I would argue that not many people probably do. I mean, you're going to sit here and read this book. Look how thick that is if you're watching video. You're going to read this book. Look how thick that is if you're watching on video. You're going to just read all these books. And by the way, that doesn't mean anything because you got to actually understand and remember what you're reading, which is probably my number one flaw. Retention of information and specificity. But what we got here is we have keys, clues, nuggets of information that are showing us the interconnectivity of all of these things. And can we put the puzzle together? Like so many people have been trying to put the puzzle together for years and years. Greenfield writes very aptly that many researchers of ufology and the paranormal, you know, after 30 years they give up because it's just like I can't figure it out, right? And that's not bad. That's not saying, oh, they're quitters. That's not that at all. They exhausted their patience for the unknowable, and no one can be blamed for such a thing. Everyone has an internal well that is filled with the waters of customer service. And if you've ever worked in a restaurant or a bar or in customer service and retail, you understand that every day the level of water in that well gets a little bit lower by people coming by with their pails, being like, I need this sucks. I need to talk to a manager. I'll take a pail out of my well because I'm this close to going dry. And I don't have it in me anymore to smile and nod, et cetera, et cetera. Mine was about 15 years. I worked in customer service and, you know, the hospitality, and I guess it's not the hospital, whatever, the restaurant business for 15 years. And my well's dry when it comes to taking shit from strangers who didn't want to cook their own food. It's like you don't want to cook your own food, and then you want to complain about the people who are cooking your food or bringing you serving you your food. You want to complain about that? Shut your pie hole. Go home and cook your dinner, you stupid son of a bitch. You go make your food because obviously you're the only one who knows how you like it. Ran over. That's, you know, like when we complain about so much luxury we have, like we're complaining about being on the highway during construction. It's like you're complaining about them working on the thing you're currently using. There would be no road for you to be using if there wasn't construction at some point. Why are we all so stupid and not realize that? Yet we find it easy to complain. So this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I guess maybe it's all connected. The point is, don't complain about being in traffic, construction traffic, because maybe one day they'll be tired of it and they'll be like, fine, we won't fix any of your roads anymore. And then what are you going to do? You're not going to be able to drive anywhere unless you have a gas guzzling, atmosphere destroying all-wheel drive diesel engine that gets 7 miles per gallon. Hey, I'm not hating you on that. I'm not hating you on that really that hard. I mean, I want a Pathfinder. I want a Forerunner. I want a vehicle that will go anywhere on paranormal. That's the dream. It's like, I have this 4-wheel drive vehicle goes anywhere for paranormal expeditions. And then it's like, well, can you go out in the woods at night? Well, I might be still a little bit too scared for that. Okay, so why do you need a 4-wheel drive vehicle, bro? Settle down. This is all connected. People have done the work. They've dedicated their lives to the research. They've started putting the pieces together. They've uncovered the puzzles. They've found the pieces that were maybe most difficult to find to lead us to have an easier time putting the other puzzle pieces together. And for that, we should be grateful. And, not only did they build the coffee table of which we are building this puzzle, but they've even, put the border together for us, right, to get us started. So How do we do it? I mean, we don't have to get into that part quite yet, because this is obviously, I don't have all the answers. But when it comes to the connection between the occult and ufology, and whether it's, the raw material, which Greenfield writes about as well and includes in here. Now, this book is, it's not new, okay? It's not a new book over here. This book's 20 years old, almost, probably. I think 94 is when it came out, or something like that. So, like the Book of One, the Law of One, all these different people channeling all these different source material gods or energies or whatever, they're all tapping into the same thing by a different name, or a similar thing by a different name that others may have also been privy to, tapping into in the past. And through these other past taps, they've been called prophets, or they've been called, visionaries, etc. If you take, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take any great song that is legendarily placed into the artist's head while they're sleeping. These are the songs we need to be playing at Paranormal Investigations. Okay. The geniuses who channeled some kind of, some form of the muse, which provided us with some of the greatest, symphony music of all time. This is what we need to be using during investigation. This is what I'm going to want to be using during investigations. There's something about the mathematics of it all and the musicalness. They correspond with one another, obviously. And mathematics and these mystical laws that are the foundation of the universe that, as Blavatsky would say, only the most educated in every society always have access to and are educated in, whether through, the highest degrees of Freemasonry, which aren't advertised to the public. I'm getting in. I'm getting into Freemasonry. I'm gonna join a lodge, and I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna get to the 92nd degree, whatever it is. I want answers. Can you walk in and be like, I want the truth. Let me join your club. I want truth. I'll do the work. I know some Masons. And so I could get referred, maybe, I guess. You have to get referred typically by two people who are a member of the same lodge. I have to find out who's members in Los Angeles here, my area, see if I can. If you are a member, if you're a Freemason here on the west side of Los Angeles, I need you to reach out to me, because I'm ready. I'm ready to take the plunge and walk through the doors, which hold in their architecture the secret symbology of alchemy and immortality. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay, so see how all this is connected? Now, in the teachings of Freemasonry, you have all of this old mythology. You have all of these same symbols showing up. And I mention Oenus because Oenus, the fish god, is showing up everywhere, right? Whether it's John the Baptist or, the Saint John, who then later kind of became John the Baptist, and like later on in the Bible, two different people, meaning where Masons are like dedicated to Saint John, and now it's kind of like John the Baptist, but it's all water. It's all this water shit, and water keeps showing up. And I'm a Cancer, so I love the water. You know me, I'm a crabby crab, and so let's get into the water here. Let's see what's going on. The symbology is so thick and endless, and dare I say, the coincidences and the synchronicities are relentless. It's a relentless. You see the same cast of characters constantly showing back up. And the skeptic will say, this is mythology. This is what legend does. It grows and it finds its way into other things. It enriches stories, parables, allegories, etc., fables. It enriches things. The deeper backstory and the more rich something is, the more delicious it is for us to ingest, for us to read or to hear or to even tell to others. Is the Parsons L. Ron Hubbard story nearly as fascinating if Hubbard doesn't steal his money and go on to start the Church of Scientology, which has become which became very popular and successful and so dastardly in the way they handle their business. Is the Parsons story as interesting? I'm not saying it wouldn't still be interesting, because dagnabbit, it would be. It would be quite interesting, dagnabbit. But would it be as rich if, in fact, Hubbard was just some guy who never really did anything? That's for you to decide on your own. I don't think it would be as rich. I think Parsons is the star of the story. Hubbard is really trying to demand the attention and wants the starlight shown on him. There's some crazy quotes in this book about Hubbard and things he said and the way he viewed things and the way he kind of just tried to co-opt magical practice from Crowley and others to get what he wanted, to take the elements of it and get what he wanted that he didn't even consider to be Scientology, right? So the one thing Greenfield did leave out in the book was, keeps talking about Hubbard taking Parsons' lover, but, and we've talked about this before, there's no reason to feel bad for Parsons because, now granted, their social scene was just a little bit different than what we may be accustomed to when it comes to having, sex magic rituals. Clearly people having sex in and around other people having sex, right? So a little more free. It's a little more free. But it's and maybe roles are a little less defined in situations like that. That lines begin to blur. But nonetheless, the lover that Hubbard stole was the younger sister of Parsons' wife. So you can't feel that bad about it, right? It's like, yeah, well, don't have an affair with your wife's younger sister, who she wasn't happy about. Parsons doing that, by all accounts. It's not like she's like, yeah, you should start having sex with my sister and form a relationship with her while we're still married. And you live with her in the house and I'll live somewhere else. It's hard to feel, we need to feel as much compassion as we can for everyone because we don't know what they've been through. Yet it's hard to feel too much compassion for the lover being stolen under those circumstances. Okay, we cleared that up. Just to clear that part up of this book, which was never touched on. So you got the secret doctrine, which is referenced a lot. Blavatsky was referenced a lot. But then you also have this idea that, Colonel John Dee, you've got Blavatsky, you got these other people, where Crowley and Dee, where they, and even Blavatsky, I believe, I could be wrong, I believe was mentioned, were they working as like intelligence officers? Which then it's like, think about that connection. If you think about the connection between the occultist or the esotericist, I don't know if it's accurate or not, just because of my own lack of knowledge, to call Blavatsky an occultist. Occult just means hidden. Is it a coincidence that these people who claim to have tapped into or been delivered from sources they're in communication with ultimate knowledge, ultimate truth about human beings' rightful place in the universe, is it a coincidence that these secret government agencies of intelligence, quote unquote intelligence agencies, are using them, are in cahoots with them? That's not a coincidence. Did I just answer the question? It can't be a coincidence in these situations. So knowing, people will be like, well, they just wanted, access to the more unsavory types that were running around in their circles. Well, go to the Theosophical Society and tell me if there's a bunch of unsavory types running around, okay? Actually get into and read and try to understand, Thelema or, these things that Crowley was channeling or, writing about. And is it truly unsavory, or is it unsavory under the conditions of modern Western society, which may or may not be heavily influenced and structured by the Black Lodge? And now again, we have the Black Lodge versus the Great White Brotherhood. nothing to do with race. I just feel like I have to say that every time because so much paranormal shit can become racial, which is just fucking bonkers to me. But derived from the conspiratorial side of things. So it's not a coincidence that the intelligence agencies are in contact with and using people who are tapped into higher intelligences. Now, the intelligence community also handles contactee cases, etc., etc. And I am not a contactee. So I have not had contact with the secret government intelligence agencies, the 3-letter agencies. I've never been contacted by them. To the best of my knowledge, none of them have infiltrated my social circle. Why would they waste their time to hear a bunch of people talking about where they're going to go do a paranormal investigation, how they want to play Paul McCartney's Yesterday, and how the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl? Because the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. And as a Southern Ohio kid, I am so excited that they're going to win the Super Bowl. You got to manifest things. It's all about manifestation of outcomes. So, yeah, they're not, if they're in my social circle, they're infiltrating, looking for information. What are they going to get? I'm not tapped into any secret sources. No one's like sending me encrypted emails. And if they were, would I tell you? Probably over on the Patreon page. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer. I am going to, there's going to be bonus content on this particular episode because I am going to start laying out what I plan on doing specifically at, I don't know if I'll be able to do it at this next investigation I'm doing here in a couple weeks with Karen Rontowski at going back to Post Town. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it there, but I'll be doing it very soon. We're kicking things up a notch when it comes to the game plan here, the playbook, when it comes to how we're going to be in contact or contacting whatever is occupying these haunted locations and or is just out there. I do plan on doing some CE5 stuff. I'm just going to call it PE5 from now on. We'll call it PE5. Sorry, Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm just totally stealing your name and just changing the C to a P. They even rhyme. So paranormal encounters of the fifth kind, as opposed to close encounters of the fifth kind. We're going to see what we can crack open. We're going to see what we get to the bottom of. Oftentimes, and I believe it's in the 11th or the 7th aether, one of these parallel dimensions or of this multiverse, or one of these layers of reality that are living all stacked on top of each other, that these different rituals for each aether can get you there, can take you to these different levels, right, of reality. There is something very interesting happening. So we're going to do a quick transition here. There's something very interesting happening at these levels. What's happening is there are often reports, according to Greenfield in The Complete Secret Cipher of the Euphonauts, of a very strong female presence, almost like a giant, right, who's just like dripping with confidence and sexuality, and it just like an overpowering presence. And I think I'm kind of getting, it's just like the ultimate power of like creation, like, kind of frightful, so powerful that she is to some scary. There have been other accounts of these matriarchal forces when people do different kind of rituals. And there is also, if you remember, to me this is a very strong tie-in. Some might argue that I'm making a leap here, but I believe that we're all about building bridges from one thing to the other on this show. And the bridge we're building here is this strong female energy from this aether, and then the woman you always hear about being inside the DMT trip? Are they a different manifestation of the exact same force, of the exact same energy? My psychiatrist may or may not have suggested that I drop acid and or smoke DMT while doing a paranormal investigation at a haunted location. Now, that is a lot to handle, I think, for a guy like me. Now, would it be, I think he's thinking of the therapeutic benefits of psychedelic drugs when he may or may not have even suggested the idea. But, or I think I brought it up and he was just like, oh, that sounds interesting. And when your therapist says, that sounds interesting, that's when you kind of are like, oh, are they telling me to do this? Are they telling me to smoke DMT inside a haunted house? Is that what's up next on the agenda? It scares the shit out of me to think about it, which means I hate when I admit that I'm super scared of something because I know I have to confront it. Do I have to do this? I don't know. If there's any psychics out there that are getting a strong message that I should not, you should message me and tell me, no. Came in through very strong from the spirit guides that this is not a good idea. Please tell me that. Now, I'm nowhere near close to being able to embark on such a journey. I mean, PE5, psychedelic encounters of the fifth kind. That's what might be happening on DMT. So I think all of this stuff is connected. And, the focus of trying even to do CE5, Dr. Stephen Greer's protocols to call in on purpose alien UFO contact, doing those protocols inside a haunted school, a place that's notoriously haunted, was me actively trying to build that bridge between the haunted school and the alien entity energy, and trying to understand, like, will this work? Would it work? Am I correct in thinking that there's really no difference between all of these things? And the only difference is it's just all the same energy manifested in a different form with slightly different access to information depending on the journey of that current manifestation of physical form. It's a lot of words, right? But I think it makes sense. So it seems like we got to tap into that. And I'm going to continue to do that. I'm looking, also trying to find other ways to, if we're lucky, establish real strong contact and, hopefully also be able to provide evidence to people that this is happening, that this is real, that anyone can get there, anyone can do it, and the information you need might be somewhat hidden or occult, but it's out there. And people are putting it out there all the time. That's the good news about all of this. There is a formidable army of paranormal investigators on TikTok, YouTube, on blog spots, or whatever else, TV programs. It's so easy to shit on a TV program when you're not there, when you're not watching, or when you're not partaking or participating in the television program. It's so easy to shit on these people or the results that you think are hoaxed. And let's be honest, some of them clearly are hoaxed, or it'd be a bigger deal. You just don't have a picture of Jesus burning in the middle of the woods and not tell your friends. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong, and I'll settle down. Hey, man, you got to chill out, man. It's kind of scary stuff. Tell your friends that when you're stranded on an island in Alaska somewhere, man. You don't want to just be like, whoa, dude, Jesus is burning. Something here doesn't like JC. Okay, Todd, I understand that. But guess what I'm doing in that situation? I'm running back to the campsite and being like, there's a fucking picture of Jesus Christ burning in the woods. Time to get the fuck out of here because something dark is happening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Have fun with your TV program. That's just me. I can't say that's what I do for sure because I'd have to be there and experience it to understand what I'd really do. When I had the shit scared out of me in Florida, I didn't immediately leave the next morning. I stayed another night. I thought I was going to be killed. I thought I was dead. So, you know, I am a hypocrite in everything I say or do. We all are. Let's stop acting like we're all better than everybody else. So I'm enjoying, from this vantage point, watching paranormal programming. And whether it's mountain monsters, which I just put on the other day while I was eating dinner. So I've only seen maybe 20 minutes of it because I usually only give myself about 20 minutes to eat. So I watched the first 20 minutes of it. I know Expedition Bigfoot's coming back for season 3 in March. If you're listening to this when it comes out, it's February 2022. But in March, season 3 of Expedition Bigfoot will be coming out. I've really enjoyed that show. Anyway, it's easy to judge sitting on your couch or watching on a tablet in your car at the dentist or whatever. Who sits in their car watching a tablet when they're at the dentist? I don't know. Maybe you got there early. Traffic was light. The point is, most of these people, most of them, are not just actors brought off the street to play a role. I'm an actor. I have been paid to act in television that has aired on TV. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm the host of this program, which is a paranormal program. So if I'm on television investigating the paranormal, and you go to IMDb, you see that I have a bunch of credits listed there. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying you could go there and people would be like, this guy's just an actor. No, I'm not just an actor. But you see how easily people could say that, right? And you hear that a lot from people. Now, granted, not every production company is the same. People always want to blame the people involved, the investigators and stuff. It's really kind of the production company shaping the idea, right? And providing the product to the network where it airs. And also the network being like, this is what we want as a product. Anyway, none of that shit fucking matters, okay? What matters is Greenfield, others, have discovered the connectivity of all of this and are laying out game plans for people to do, to make contact. Dr. Stephen Greer has laid out protocols for us to follow to establish contact with a great deal of efficiency and accuracy. Can we get to the bottom of the meaning of it all? That's where the juice is, right? Getting back to the meaning. What does it all mean? Why does it all mean? Does it all mean anything? Will we figure it out in our turn here on the spinning sphere through the soup of stars? Oh, I sure hope so. I sure hope we get some insight. I sure, golly gee willikers, dag nabbit. After I've just been dropping F-bombs and everything else, I'm like, dag nabbit, golly gee willikers. Manley P. Hall was on it. I want a dinner with Manley P. Hall. I want to sit down. I want a week with this guy. I want a week to pick his brain. You can just read all of his stuff and, listen to his lectures on YouTube for free. And it's essentially picking his brain. But I want to have an interaction. I want to ask questions that are directly, so many questions I want to ask you, Manley. I just want to know. Magical Manley Hall. Magical Mr. Manley. That was the name of the screenplay I wanted to write. But with the magical Mrs. Maisel or whatever. You kind of can't really name your thing that. The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Also, the Magical Mr. Manley would be the name of the screenplay. I should write it anyway. So, well, I mean, the name of the movie would just be after his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, the story of Manly P. Hall, the life and times of Manly P. Hall. Anyway, I should write that screenplay. Maybe I need to write it with someone else. Not that like there's enough going on. Crystallize is out. Crystallize app. Crystallize.app. Download that app, baby. It's free. You can download it on Android. You can download it on iPhone. It is free. If you want to be a premium subscriber, you get access to unlimited photo identifications and unlimited personal collection size of keeping track of all of your crystals. You can set intentions. You can set locations where you keep the crystals so you can remember where these things are and you can remember why you got them. You can add a nickname to the crystal itself. There's a 300-plus crystal database that has the metaphysical properties and other information like astrological signs, numbers, numerology, things like that. The crystal database is awesome, right? The psychic teachers helped curate the crystal database, Deb and Samantha. There is a directory of metaphysical stores and shops. We'll be building that out. But if you're in one of the cities that we already have included, you can click directions. You can get directions. The directions map apps will open up from a click on Get Directions. So find new rock shops, metaphysical shops, or practitioners in your area. We are closing in on a deal with a vendor who I've already had conversation with, who's amazing, who provides ethically sourced crystals, and super excited about that. The first of what we hope to be many, ethically sourced. It all checks out, so you can feel good about feeling good and getting crystals that you don't have to worry about where they came from. Your options are going to be much more limited when you just can't go in and buy any crystal you want because you don't care where it came from. This is the price we pay to be conscious consumers. Okay. I got tour dates, ryansingercomedy.com/tour. I got some tour dates coming up, doing Post-Town Elementary here in about 2 weeks with my buddy Karen Rontowski. And also next week's guest on the program, Matthew Jackson from Paraholics. He'll be on the show on Tuesday. What a fun chat we had. He's going to join us over at Post-Town. He's going to bring all of his gadgets. We're going to have a really darn good time over there. And we're going to get some great new footage. I've pretty much labeled all of the video footage, over 1,000 different media files for the documentary. And now we're working on piecing them together. We're chugging along. The stand-up comedy special is pretty much edited. It's pretty much edited. We've got it. And I think you're going to love it. I can't wait to share that with you once we figure out where it's going to be released. More info on that soon. What else is going on? I got to get back to my memoir, Shapeshifter. I've got like 1.5 drafts of it done. So I just need to finish doing some editing, and then who knows? I could probably add in some more stories at this point. Maybe that's a book, a different book later. But I'll do that this year. Don't you worry about it. Yeah. So I love you. I hope you love yourself. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're feeling healthy. And I hope you're feeling wealthy and well. Manifest that money. Go Bengals. Who day. And if I don't see you at a show sometime soon, I'm going to see you at the watering hole on the astral plane. And oh, by the way, patrons, there's going to be some bonus jibber-jabbing going on about what we talked about today. So jump over to the patreon.com/Ryan Singer page. Get some bonus content. Thanks again.